So I think a good place to start would be, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Why have you ended up on a balcony in Bali with me? Yeah, it'd be good to
Yeah.
get a rundown of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, happy to, man. So yeah, I'm Sol, originally from the UK. Was in the corporate 9 to 5 as a consultant, and am now doing consulting myself. I help coaches and consultants scale their business, and I've come out here, as you say, to this lovely spot in Bali to be around other entrepreneurs, have the lovely weather, and live what I deem is a bit of a better lifestyle. Yeah, why
100%.
don't you fire on backwards, man? Tell me a bit more about
Yeah,
what you're up to.
I guess from the UK as well. A little bit different. I think for me, like I never actually entered that kind of corporate
Good job.
lifestyle, which is probably for the best. But similar kind of journey, I guess, going through that uncertainty, which we'll touch on today. But yeah, more detail. I left school at 19. I went traveling. Sorry, left school at 18. Went traveling for a few months. Had a place at uni at Leeds, which I then decided to decline after I went traveling. Tried every way you could probably think of to make money online. But started my own Amazon business. That didn't go amazing. And then I got into high ticket sales. Been doing that for the past 2 years. Scaled up to 15K a month with that. And that, yeah, has allowed me to be on the balcony with you in Bali. And yeah, now I'm 21 and helping others do the same.
Love it, man. It's so cool. And how have you found? I mean, I guess starting off with going into that space, tell me how you actually got into sales in the first place.
Yeah, I think probably similar to a lot of people, like just how do you make money online? Like that was the classic kind of search into the YouTube and Safari. And then I just looked at so many different things and then found high ticket sales, thought, you know what, like I'm a people person, I like speaking with people. I've kind of done that all my life, played sport like we've spoken about before. And then, yeah, worked with a mentor. He helped me get good at it. And then basically the rest is history, just got really good, scaled up, worked for businesses, made good money from it. And yeah, that's basically the story of it.
Nice. I love that. And for like, why high ticket sales and why are you happy that you ended up getting into high ticket sales?
Yeah, I think the thing I really like about high ticket sales is it's not overcomplicated. Like with e-commerce, with trading, with all of these different things, there's so many variables that go into it. You got the ad spend, you're running a business, you've got editing, like there's so much stuff. Whilst with sales, it's like if you're a beginner, you learn one thing, you get extremely good at it, then you'll make good money from it. It's such a good way of having an in. And it's the other thing about high ticket sales and what I thought in my head and what I spoke with people about was like, if you don't, like those jobs are out there, those sales jobs, you know, there's guys like you who run businesses, you need sales teams, you need guys who are going to help you. So the jobs are there. So as long as you stay consistent, you put in the effort, like there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't land one of these jobs and you couldn't make that money. Which again, on the contrary, if we compare that to e-commerce or no, let's say trading, right? There's so many different variables. You don't know what the market's going to do. No one really does, right?
Of course.
Whilst you're much more in control with it. So I was like, look, I've got a good work ethic. If I work hard, then I'm going to do well. And that was basically the kind of thought process behind it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it is the best that I always think it's so important to look at the people ahead of you and look what they did to get into the online space, get into starting their own business. And I just had so many of the people that I looked up to started off in sales. And I just thought, okay, you know, the quickest way to make money is to attach yourself to a sale because you can prove that that's your output. And I found getting into high ticket sales or starting off my journey in high ticket sales was the best way to understand fundamentally how business sales works. And once you understand how business sales works, you can then reverse engineer the whole process to then be like, okay, well, I know what people are looking for in marketing. I know how to make it more likely that they buy. And then I know how to attract certain people. And that's what I found so interesting by getting into sales is you understand the psychology of the consumer more and it sets you up so nicely to then start your own business, which I found fascinating. But I don't know if can you resonate to that?
Yeah, I think that like since now starting my own thing and training other guys, like it's made it so much easier because I know something now. I know the backbone of the business, which is sales. So it's like, and it's not just that, but when you're in these companies, like just to kind of give a rundown, like my role as a closer, or if you're a high ticket salesman, your job is to go into a business and close deals for them. But you don't just do that. You get to see everything. You see the marketing, you see the funnels, you see when you're getting good leads, bad leads, and you just learn when you're in the environment. You just see what's happening, and then you begin to get a knack for it. And now, me going into starting my own thing, I understand how CRM work. I understand marketing. I understand what's good, what's bad, and obviously I still have sales as well. So it just makes it way easier. Which is, I'd love to get your opinion as well. Like, a lot of people come into the space, you know, they see Iman's like agency stuff, and it's like, what do you think about just going straight in and starting an agency or starting something where you have zero experience with anything? Like, what's your opinion on that?
It's really hard, right? Because if you're listening right now, you're probably thinking like, you're probably in a position where you're thinking about getting into the space or thinking about starting. And the reason why I think sales is so good to start, as we said, is because of you get that understanding. And the reason I've managed to scale so quickly is because I've gone through all the learnings and the lessons, but by being part of someone else's business. And I'm definitely pro people just starting and getting going. But even I only did closing for 2.5 months, and even that 2.5 months taught me more about business than my 3-year university degree, than like reading any business book that I've ever read. I just understood so much. So I think as a route to get into this online world, just picking up a remote sales job is unbelievable. And as you say, there are so many out there because the info product space and the coaching space is absolutely booming right now. Like, you in England, it's pretty hard to see it, but if you come out here, man, like every second person is in the space, and you realize how many roles there actually are, and it's such a good beginner journey into the kind of online remote space. So yeah, I think that's where I think about it. Is that similar to where you're?
Like that's what and it's similar, like being out here, you know, going out for dinners, meeting guys. Like, pretty much everyone runs a business or is maybe a closer working for a business. And as you said, the industry is growing massively. I don't know the exact figures, but I think it's set to grow like 5 times over the next 10 years because it's working and people are doing well, and that's where everything's headed. You know, we don't want to open that's a whole nother kettle of fish talking about uni and how that's going down, but like, this is the direction everyone's heading in. So it's like, why wouldn't you get involved now, learn sales, and then like, I'm not going to be the guy who's going to say you're going to be a closer for the rest of your life. Right? You learn it, you get good at it over the next few years, and then from there you can then start your own thing, right? Which is exactly what I've done. I've gone through that exact model, and I know loads of other guys who have done it. And again, it just makes that transition into becoming a business owner that much easier because you've learned the key thing, which is sales.
100%. And that skill is so fundamental, even when you're literally sitting down and making a bit of content for your own business. Like, understanding the sales and why people buy is so much easier to then reverse engineer and be like, okay, so I know what someone on a sales call says to me. So if I say this about a bit of content, then that bit of content's going to actually help someone close when they end up at that sales call. It's fascinating. How did you almost get so successful in sales, considering, like, you know, 15k a month is pretty crazy as someone, and what you're 19, 20, 21 making 15k a month. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool.
How was that? It sucked, man. I hated it.
That was shit. But no, I think it's just, if you come in with the right mindset, like we were chatting about this the other day, if you go into anything with the right mindset of like, right, I'm just going to give this absolutely everything. I'm not going to expect to get results straight away. I'm going to be relentless. I know what I'm aiming for. And it sounds really woo-woo. Like, I bet there's so many guys from the UK watching this right now, like, mindset, law of attraction, all of that. But it's so important. And I think 100%. You could probably vouch for that as well. But just I knew what I wanted. I had the desire and like the fuel to get there. And as long as you have that and you put in the effort, then you're going to succeed. Right?
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the reasons that we like doing these podcasts and these episodes is because it's very easy to watch someone who is, you know, sitting on a beach in Bali or driving a nice car in Dubai, and it's very easy for someone to sit there and go, that's not possible, that's not me. And we want to do these conversations to try and basically expose that we can have a 45-minute chat about this industry. We can talk about how easy and possible it is to actually get into this industry, to be a coach, like to get into sales. And it's just opening the lid on that, because as you said, like, one of the first mindset pieces that I find people struggle with, especially the coaches that I work with, is they just don't believe that it's possible to be a coach who's making 15, 20k a month while living out here in Bali, because you're just not exposed to it. You just don't see it. And I guess what was the thing that made you be like, okay, this life actually exists? Like I can actually be a closer who's making 15K a month. How did you open your mind up to that?
Yeah, I think it's hard, like especially when you're from the UK. Like as you know, the mindset around it is very, oh, if he's making that, then it's a scam. Like he's rich parents. Like there's always an excuse for something, right? And it was kind of just looking at it fundamentally and going, right, I'm literally seeing videos of these guys who are making this money through this business model. Like at what point do I actually just go, right, this has to be real? Right, you can continue to tell yourself that something's a scam or that it's not real, but that mindset again is just limiting you 100%. Massively. And it's all about breaking the limiting beliefs. Like that's what I've learned massively is, oh, I don't think I can make any money online. You do it, breaks that belief. Then you have to break the belief that you can make 5K, 10K, 15K. It's all about those limiting beliefs. And the sooner you can break those, the more successful you're going to be.
100%.
And I've learned that has been like one of the biggest things that I've learned. Do you kind of agree? I'm sure you probably
do. It's I've got so many stories about this, but like, again, I think no matter where you are in your journey, it breaks. But the biggest thing that started with me with this whole online business coaching world is I came out here to Bali and it was a Tuesday afternoon and I went to go and play a game of paddle and I met this guy and he was just chilling, sitting there having a coconut. And in my brain, I was like, okay, this guy must be on holiday. Like, there's no way he's just, it's a Tuesday afternoon, right? You should be working. It's Monday to Friday working. It's Tuesday to work. And he was like, yeah, no, I make money online. I run this course. I help people coach. And he was like, yeah, like just casually dropping in, photos of him on nice holidays, maybe some very nice cars that he had, and not in a show-offy way. And I just remember thinking like, so I'm going back to work this job in London and I'm going to work a corporate 9 to 5 where I won't be allowed out of my office until Friday afternoon. And you're sitting here playing paddle on a Tuesday. I need your life. I'm on the wrong progression because this is going to be my life for the next 40 years. Why don't I try and aim to have a bit more of a life for you? And then that same guy, so he broke my belief there and I was like, okay, fine, I've seen this. I now know that this life exists. And then the same guy, we sat under the Burj Khalifa in Dubai and we were sitting in the Nando's looking at the light show. Like life was unbelievable. And he was like, by the way, bro, like I'm only going to show you this because I know you'll enjoy looking at it, but look at this. And he had made $1 million in 24 hours. And I was just like, I was like, not only do you have an unbelievable life, but wow, like $1 million in 24 hours. But people fundamentally don't believe that because of the fact that they don't have those conversations with those people, but it comes from an open-minded part, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why environment's so important. Like getting yourself in an environment where you're surrounded by other people who are all doing what you're doing something similar it's the most important thing. And it's something that I neglected for a while because I was just like in the UK working, grinding, making the money. But I think that if I had gone out, maybe got into a house with some other closers or met other people or been out here or Marbella, like I have been before, like I would have progressed so much quicker. And I think that nicely kind of tangents into like looking at other people and what they do. I think that is another reason why I've done so well so quickly is because, like you spoke about, I looked at what other people are doing ahead of me, and at the end of the day, success leaves clues.
100%.
Like they're telling you to do this, then they're in a position you want to be in, then you should probably listen to them. Whilst on the contrary, everyone listens to their friends around them, their parents, their teachers at school, their bosses at a corporate job, whatever it might be, even though they're not living the life that they want to. So I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on that.
I think that's such a good statement because it is literally the case of if someone lives a life you don't want to live, do not ever listen to their advice. That is the simple rule of thumb that I have. And if someone is doing something and I'm like, I have no interest in being you, what you're doing right now, then I basically discount most of their opinions because they have lived, their behaviors and their actions are all aligned to where they are right now. And actually, you should never listen to people who aren't in the arena with you. And that's why, as you say, like just look at successful people and just copy what they do fairly blindly. And it ends up with you just ending up like them because you've copied their thing. And so many people, as you say, are listening to their friends and their family. And it's like, don't get me wrong, like my dad, for example, like he did very well for himself. Like he's super aspirational guy, but I don't want the life that he has. And therefore, when he tells me, look, it's time to get a stable job, I was just like, but I don't want that because I don't want that outcome. And that's when, in all respect to that, I guess, did you have that for yourself when you were
Yeah,
going into space?
massively. I think for me, it like you go through that period where it's like everyone's telling you you're an idiot. Like, I feel like everyone goes through that.
Yeah.
And for me, it was when I said I wasn't going to uni and I was like, I'm going to make money online.
Yeah.
And you just speak to all these people, whether that's parents, friends, your parents. Like, thankfully, my parents were like very supportive, which is great. But speaking with my friends' parents, they're like, "What are you going to do? Like, what's the plan? Make money online?" Well, what do you mean? Like, what? You're not going to get a job? You're not going to start making money? And again, I just kept thinking to myself, right, these people who are giving me advice, they are not in the position that I want to be in.
Yeah.
So I can't listen to them.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. And I get it. People are probably like thinking, oh, what? I have to turn around and tell my mum to F off that I'm going to make money online. It's really hard, but you have to do it because these people, they may be an authority over you. You've listened to your parents your whole life. Sure. They've been your kind of, your authority figure. But it comes a time where you have to go, actually, I'm not going to listen to you because you're not in that position I want to be in.
Yeah.
And that, again, it's like a limiting belief. You have to break that. You have to stop listening to your friends. You have to fundamentally, most importantly, after this 5 minutes of conversation, if someone's giving you advice, look at where they're at.
Yeah.
If you don't want the life they are living, then do not listen to them. That is unbelievably important. So important. So I think that's super key.
It's fascinating. And I think there's two people who listen to something like this, and the kind of aim is like, we've tried to give a nice little background and all that sort of thing, but fundamentally it comes from like, we have built or are in the process of building the life that we want. And there's two people I find who look at this. You're either the person who looks at this and goes, that's not the life that I want. And you're the person who goes, okay, that is the life that I want. And if you're the person who says that's not the life that I want, then don't be offended by it. Just crack on and do your own thing. But if you're the person who looks at this and goes, this is the life that I want, then you can either take two routes on that. And if you say, I want to work wherever I want and where I want, then you can either be open-minded and say, okay, these two random English blokes sat on a rooftop, like they've built this life. What can I look at them and copy? Like, what can I find and make for myself? Or you can look at it and say, scammers, they must be trying to just like sell courses, just use all these negative labels. And there's a great video that I saw online of a guy, and he's parking his really nice car in a petrol station, and some woman works there who's filling up the petrol, and she basically like slags him off for I think it was something like his number plate was dirty or something like that, and she was like, make sure you sort your number plate out or something like that. Maybe it was even more crude than that. And he basically said, look, there's two people who react to my nice cars. There's the people who go up and ask, how did you get that car? And there's the people that slag him off and say, look, it's just probably scamming people online. And it's like, car, maybe not. I'm not into the car stuff, but like more of the fact that it's like, you can be one of two people. You can be someone who asks how someone got there, or you can be someone who dismisses it and doesn't open their mind. And I think we both know that everyone we know who's living the life that they want, who's actually fulfilled, is the person who went, maybe I should actually ask them how they got there. And I think your story resonates with that, right?
Yeah, I think curiosity is just so important. Like, the more curious you are, the more successful you'll be. Like, like you said, you look at someone and you either think, wow, like, okay, what can I do? Like you said, what can I do that this person's done to get in this position? And like you said, if you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I absolutely love where I'm at. I love my job. I don't care about traveling. I don't care about working when I want. And great, like, you don't have to listen to us. Like, this is videos.
But most people do, realistically, right? Then most people do.
Exactly. But I think just having that open mind and being curious and seeing something and going, right, like, how can I make this happen? Like, what steps do I need to take to make this happen? Or you can be, like you said, the guy who just blanks it all off and goes, scam, not real, cannot happen, sells a course. And at the end of the day, like, that's going to get you nowhere. That mindset, that's the first thing you need to get rid of, right? Is you need to get rid of that mindset. You have to be looking at these people and thinking, what can I take from them? Not how can I bring them down? Because how can I bring them down to make myself feel better? Because that essentially is what these people are doing.
100%. Right? It justifies your life, right? Like, you're justifying, by swiping them, you're justifying the life that you don't like. And I know that a lot of people that I know back in the UK dismiss all of these people. But I know deep down that they actually wish they could be a coach who's out here making the money with the freedom and the lifestyle that it comes with. But realistically, it's either you slag them off and you just sit in your corporate 9 to 5 chair and go, oh, I'm doing the right thing, or you're open-minded and you go, okay, maybe I actually did pick the wrong path. Maybe I did pick the wrong path, or maybe this is the path I want to find in the first place. And I think that nicely transitions on to, obviously you're helping people getting into the coaching space. What do you find as some of the limiting beliefs, or sorry, into the sales space? What do you find some of the limiting beliefs are that people really come into the space thinking?
Yeah, I think that first coming in, like one of the biggest things is like being scared of being scammed. Like we've just spoken about, they're like, oh, this can't be real. Like, surely you're just trying to just sell me a course, make money from me. And they have this limiting belief and this stigma, which I think is massive in the UK around like online coaching and courses. And look, of course there's like scammers out there, right? Me and you both know there are. But again, I think it's that mindset. Like you need to break that mindset. You need to like look at yourself and go, I am the one who's holding myself back here. Right, I can give someone evidence, I can show them the results that I've got, how I've helped other people. But at the end of the day, if you're not willing to be open-minded, if you're not willing to break that limited belief and give something a chance and actually believe it can happen, then you're never going to do well. You will not do well. And to be, quite frankly, I don't want to work with you. And I guess I'm sure you wouldn't want to work with someone like that either. But yeah, I think the whole stigma around courses in the UK, especially, but worldwide really, is massive. I think you've surely experienced that with people.
But bro, the funniest thing about the stigma around getting help and getting coaches and getting consultants to come in is people will drop 27k on a university course, which is a course. Like a university is a course, and you're getting taught. I'll never forget when I was doing entrepreneurship as a uni course, and I put a business plan in, and I got like a low 2-1, like a pretty average grade. And then I remember looking at my lecturer, and she'd never started a business before. And I was like, how the hell are you qualified in university to actually talk about how to do entrepreneurship and teach an entrepreneurship module if you've never set up a business before? Whereas people like me and you who have literally walked the walk, like, you know, we've both made the revenue, we've both had the success with the clients we work with, we've literally walked the walk, and people will say, oh, I'm a bit suspect about doing it. Yet they're in 50 grand's worth of debt to a university that has not taught them anything. And that course mindset in the UK, I cannot get my head around it. Like, why go into debt in university and then someone offers you a course that literally is going to give you the roadmap steps that is then teaching backwards what they've learned, and you're like, nah, it's a scam, mate, I'm not going to do it.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And chances are, if you're coming into the space, you're not going to be buying a course that's 30k. Yet you're so willing to go in debt to do a uni course. And I think it's just because everyone does it. People just follow the herd. But it's absolutely ridiculous. Like people are willing to go to uni, do a course, as you said, learn from someone who's never run a business, never walked the walk, hasn't taken the steps, but they are willing to drop that kind of money on learning from these people, on going through a course. As you said, university is an online course. It is a course or in-person course. Whilst online stuff, again, drop 3k on learning sales. No. Can't happen. Not happening, mate.
Directly return to getting money, right?
And then it's like, look at the person who's selling you it. Like you said, you've got a lecturer who's never run a business before versus someone who has started their business, has been in sales, whatever it is you want to look at. High ticket sales for me, like I've done it. I've got the receipts to prove it. But yet you're going to look at me and you're going to say, no, not happening. Like I don't want to learn from you. You're a scammer. It's just...
Yeah, man.
I can't get my head around it.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And I guess you've seen both sides of it, but then almost going into what you're doing right now, which is you've got the proof of the fact that you've done those 15k months, but also talk to me about some of the success you've had with your students, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think when we talked about earlier, like the mindset, like one of the students I've had, Rory, so he's come in, he started an agency before, failed, didn't do very well with it. He's at uni. And now, literally within a month and a half of us working together, and fair play to him, he's absolutely smashed it. He's done exactly what I've told him. He's put in the work, which is by far the most important thing. He's now in a position a month and a half later with no high ticket experience. Yesterday, he landed a SDR role, which is like a triage role, for a 7, almost 8-figure company.
No way.
Where his on-track earnings, he can make between 6,000 to 8,000 a month. 6,000 to 8,000 a month. Like, I bet people are watching this like, I've worked 10 years in a
Yeah,
job
yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't make
yeah.
that amount of money.
Yeah.
A month and a half of work, he's
Yeah.
now in that
Yeah.
position. He's also landed closing roles for a
Crazy.
Dubai company that
Yeah.
does over 200K a month as a closer, no experience. So at this point, he's got all the offers on the
Man,
table. He doesn't even know what
it's
route to
ridiculous.
take.
It's ridiculous.
And it's like, you put in the work, month and a half of grind, and look, some people it might take longer, like
Yeah,
Rory's
yeah.
put in the work. But he's now in a position where he's going to be making minimum 5K a month.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's now got a choice of how he wants to make this money.
Ridiculous. And he can work from here, and he gets to learn an invaluable skill for his own business. And he also is basically like freed himself from ever having to have a boss or ever having to have like someone telling him this is what time he needs to be in an office as well. So it's all on top of that, right?
It's ridiculous. And he's now dropped out of uni, right?
Yeah.
So he's dropped out, gone full all guns blazing on this. And I think that is really important. Like the whole burning the boats,
Yeah.
like going all in on something. Like as soon as Rory dropped out, all of his focus and attention went to it, absolutely everything, because he had to make it work.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, like when I first got into this space, declined uni place, making less than 1K a month, working part-time at a hotel, right, living with my parents at home, everyone else at uni, got everything figured out. And I was the guy, everyone was like, what is this guy doing? What's he going to do? But again, you have to go through it. You have to take that big risk, right? For you quit your job and you move back in with your parents. Like, people need to realize that you have to do what it takes. And when you do those things, like the more willing you are to look like an idiot, the more money you're going to make.
100%.
And I think that's so important. And then from there, I went from September saying I wasn't going to uni. Literally by January, I was making 5K a month online, consistently in profit.
Crazy.
And it's like, okay, I'm willing to have people take the mick out of me for 4 months. I'm willing to have people judge me for 4 months. To now, I'm at a point where I will never have to work a normal job ever, because I've learned a fundamental skill where if it doesn't matter if everything, you could drop me in the middle of Brazil, I'll be able to find a remote sales job where I can make at least 10K a month. Like that's a fact. And I think that's just
and that
ridiculous.
becomes your minimum life standard. But it's all come from the fact, and I think this is where I see the most successful coaches actually do well, this is where I see coaches be the most successful, is that you have to be willing to have delayed gratification. Like the worst mentality that you can have is I put in, and then the output comes out straight away. That is a 9 to 5 mentality. That is, I turn up to work and I get a paycheck at the end of the day. Whereas the mindset that allows people to be successful in the ticket space, in the coaching space, is I put in, I see absolutely nothing for 5 or 6 months, and I know that at the end of that 5 or 6 months, I'm going to get something out. But you don't know, but you just have that blind faith. And that is why you get such outsized returns as a coach, as a high ticket salesperson, because you are the person that is accepting that blind confidence. So, okay, go.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that like you have to go through the uncertainty. Like the more uncertainty you're willing to embrace, the better you're going to do. And I think I've learned that through closing, but I've learned it through meeting loads of business owners. Like again, limiting belief broken. I met a 17-year-old who's doing 100K a month from his business. Crazy. But again, like him, he's willing to embrace so much uncertainty. And the more of that you're willing to embrace, again, your time will come. Like it's like a graph, like nothing, bang.
So
One
good.
thing happens, boom, you make the money. Rory, he's landed the job, and now like that's his big thing. He's put in all the inputs for a month, didn't really see much, and then all at once, 3 interviews, 4 closing roles offered, like crazy.
Amazing, man. And so someone listening right now, we've obviously spoken about what's gone well, like how bit of mindset, but if someone's sitting here right now and wants to get into high ticket closing, what's your next steps apart from for joining working with you?
I think the first thing you should do is like just do some research. YouTube, like you're never going to learn how to make insane money from it, but it's good to like get a good understanding of what it is. So look at it, see, is this something that I think I'd be good at? And to be honest, like you could probably learn it all yourself from YouTube. Like if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to put in the work. But yeah, like you can go on Facebook, you can find jobs on Facebook, you can go on Instagram, you can start messaging coaches like yourself. Like if you put in the work and you just do a load of inputs, then yeah, you might be able to just land a job completely by yourself. But I know you and I, like, we've worked with coaches.
Sure.
I mean, I'm at a point now where I've invested over $20,000 into myself, into my own online education.
So if someone is actually listening to this and then is like, okay, they've spoken about the Bali lifestyle and all the mindset stuff, but tangibly, like, how did you actually get into this space?
Yeah. I think the best way would just be like, how did I do it? Like, that's going to be the best way to do it. So I went on YouTube, I saw an ad like on Instagram, and I thought, right, this actually sounds quite good. And then I started looking at YouTube videos, and then I found a mentor. I saw a guy who had done it, been there, done that, had the receipts to prove it. I was like, why wouldn't I learn from him? So I started working with him. I paid him at the time all the money I had, right? Absolutely everything. It was so expensive for me at that time. I had to split it up across 3 months because I just couldn't afford it all up front. And then, started working with him. And then, he taught me a lot, how to land a job, the experience of sales or the skill of sales. And then, from there, just landed a job, got good at that, made 5K from that one. Then I landed another job, was doing both. And then, just scaled up from there to 10 to 15K a month. So again, not me trying to plug my own program here, but like, I can only say what I've done.
And do you think, like, and I think you can answer this very honestly, which is, do you think you would have got there without investing?
Not a chance. Not a single chance. No way would I be where I am now if I hadn't invested. And again, I'm saying what I do. Like, I've not just invested in that, I've invested in other programs. I'm at this point now, I've invested like $20,000 into my own online education because I know the power of having someone who's above me, someone who has walked from A to B and can get me from A to B and then B to C. And it's just, fundamentally, it's so important to have, in my opinion, someone there who you can just lean on, who's done what you want to do.
100%. And I have the same mentality. Like, also, I've invested about 20K into my own education, and that's within the space of about 2 months. So I believe fundamentally in having a mentor and having someone to guide you, because in every other walk of life, you look up to people and you have role models, and that comes at a value, so therefore it comes at a price. But the phrase that even Olympians have coaches, I think, is so good, right? Like, no matter where you are in where you are trying to be, having someone who can just guide you in the right direction, and actually, like, just knowing someone's in your corner when you're struggling or when you need a question answered is just the best thing. I only practice what I preach, and I can only sit there and ask people to invest in me because I know that I will always out-invest them because I'm always pushing my learning further and further. So I think it's funny because it's people who listen to this, like, again, they're just trying to like plug their courses, right? But at the same time, it's like, I feel like I can justify that because I know that I have invested so much that when I sit on the sales call and ask for someone to invest it with me, it's like, you just have to see that I'm the one who's doing this as well. And the fact that I'm doing this as well is like, you put proof in the pudding that it's worked for me. So why doesn't it work for you? And I guess you must find that on sales calls when people are just like, why do you think people come to your calls and then they're like, okay, I'm not necessarily ready for this, or I'm not, like, what are some of the things that people need to almost prepare themselves before they jump on a call with you?
I think people need to prepare themselves. It's not going to be easy, right? You know, you can see all the, like we talked about earlier, the flashy cars, us out here living in Bali, but like, you're still going to have to put in work, right? You're still going to have to make sacrifices. And I think that's huge. And we've definitely spoken about this before, but you have to sacrifice. You have to make a sacrifice to get a result. Like, if you just do what everyone else does, you're going to get the same result as everyone else. Like, you will become average, right? And me and you both know my favorite statistic, the average person, the average man in America, overweight, less than $1,000 in their bank account, and depressed. So why would you do what everyone else does? But again, to my point, you have to do what other people aren't willing to do. And that's investing in yourself. That's putting in work. And look, if you're going to, like myself, you know, I invested that $3,000. You know, did I know it was going to work? No. Like, of course I didn't. Nothing's guaranteed, right? And I think that two British guys, like, we're both open books, right? You could ask us anything. We're not going to bullshit anyone. Nothing's guaranteed. But like, that's exactly why you have to do it, because people aren't willing to do the stuff that's not guaranteed. And if you do it, then it then puts you in the best position to win and be able to live a life like this.
And then that's like almost a nice way just to kind of finish off this thing, which is like, talk about, and again, this is not meant to be lifestyle flex stuff, but it's actually meant to be like, what is your life like? What does your life actually look like now, so that people tangibly know what is at the end of this road that they might join you on.
At this point now, like this year, I can only say what I've done again. I've been to, I've lived out in Marbella for a month. I've been able to, on a whim, just go, right, I'm going to run a marathon in Rome, 4 weeks notice, go out there, don't need to book any holiday or anything, go out there for 4 days, flown out here. I've been in Thailand, I've been in Bali, I'm heading back to the UK, I've got trips planned to Croatia, going back to Marbella. Like, I think that's the best thing, is just being able to do stuff that you want. You don't need to worry about like time, holidays, things like that. Like, that's huge. But yeah, there's still work to be done. You know, we can't just do nothing.
Of course.
Right, you're going to have to put in the work, and don't think that the lifestyle is like lots of these kind of gurus say it is. But it's work that I enjoy. It's work that I like. And I think, especially for guys who are in a position like you, who are working for these massive, massive corporate companies, like a guy I worked with called James, who left his corporate, got into sales, and I basically just helped him increase his close rate massively. We worked one-on-one together. And he said one of the biggest things is that he is in control, right? He can pick when he works. He can pick where he works, right? Is he still going to work? Yes, but you have that like peace of mind that I can put in the work when I want. You know, I don't have to be 9 to 5 in a specific place. So yeah, that's the life now, is just having that flexibility and that freedom to go, yeah, I want to go there. Yeah, maybe I'm not going to put in loads of work today. I'll probably work tomorrow instead and put in more work.
Yeah.
Right. That is the fun. Like, that's the best thing about what we're doing now. I think anyway.
100%. It's that word choice, and that's the thing that, like, if you can get a coaching business to the point where you choose what you do, then life is just unbelievable. It's like playing a video game. You're literally waking up, deciding where you want to be, with who you want to work with, what you want to work with, and when you want to work. And like, when you've got those 4 W's, life is just so beautiful. Because yes, you have to work hard. I think we both agree. You definitely have to work hard, but you can choose. Like, I don't know, it's like a Sunday morning today and we're doing this. This is technically work for us, which is absolutely ridiculous. Right? Like,
literally.
This is technically work. And that, you know, I think it was just that like life that again, we had that open-mindedness, and then we were like, okay, let's actually work out how we can make that happen. And then we made it happen. And then it's like, okay, great. This is life now for us. And I love doing this last bit of almost like chatting about what life is like, not to flex, but just to make it very clear there's 2 very normal English blokes here who are both sat in rainy, miserable towns in the UK and actually built the businesses to the point where they could be out here whenever they want. And it's so possible. It just basically, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, nah, not interested, these guys are jokers, then it's like, fine, cool, like, that's absolutely fine. But if you are listening to it and there's just a little bit of you which is like, oh, maybe what they're saying does resonate, maybe it's right, then it's like, just put the steps in to make it happen.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing I want people to get from this, like you just said, is that we are just normal people.
Yeah.
You know, you went to uni in the UK, you know, like a few people that I know.
Yeah.
I'm just a normal bloke who played rugby, football all his life.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing special about us.
Yeah.
But we've managed to get ourselves in a position where we can do this. We can have that freedom and flexibility. And there's absolutely no reason why anyone couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's idiots all the way up. Like, that's another one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can do it. You just have to have the work ethic. You have to be willing to be uncertain, right? Take a bit of judgment from people around you. And if you're willing to do that and you're willing to work, then I promise you'll be able to live this life. Like, you are capable of doing it. It's just a case of, like Sol said, like putting in the steps to get you to a point where you can be where we are now.
Exactly. What a lovely way to cap it.
100%. Look, man, really good to chat as
Pleasure.
always.
Pleasure.
If you guys have any questions, if you want to learn more about high ticket sales, then feel free to book in a call with me. We can have a chat, find out about you, your situation, see if this would potentially make sense. But yeah, check out my Instagram in the bio as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.